Welcome back to the channel, everybody. This is Kodeations. In today's video, we're going to be diving back into some Cookie Run Kingdom, and I'm going to be bringing you guys a updated PvP tier list for January 2022. Without further ado, let's dive right in. Diving right in, ladies and gentlemen. So with that being said, guys, as always, when it comes to my PvP tier list, we've got SS tier all the way down to D, and we've got a specialty rank here. That specialty rank, as always, is going to be labeled situational. It's specifically for cookies that are good in a specific composition, and outside of that composition, well, then you probably should use them. And with that being said, diving in here to SS tier, we've got none other than obviously Holly Berry, right? Holly Berry is almost on every single team composition in the arena right now and has been holding strong since she officially dropped in the game. Definitely don't feel bad about utilizing a Holly Berry, but again, just keep in mind, people are starting to utilize things like Choco Cookie and stuff on the front line and not Holly, although she's still very viable, still considered SS. With that being said, we've got Sea Fairy up next here. Once again, that 4-second stun that Sea Fairy provides on your team composition is still very, very good, still very meta, and absolutely broken. However, I will say this next cookie, and that's going to be Frost Queen, is taking over that #1 spot for most players that are running Choco. And the reason being is because Choco's so popular, and with Choco running on an enemy team that you're going up against, well then guess what? Their team is immune to stuns essentially when Choco utilizes her skill. So with that being said, the only cookie that you could use in replacement is going to be Frost Queen, because Choco does not make your team immune to freeze. So because you're going to be able to utilize some sort of stun via that freeze, Frost Queen I think is definitely taking that #1 spot when it comes to utilizing damage dealers, but nevertheless, still going to be ranked on SS tier for me. Next up, we've got, and that's going to be another SS rank unit. Once again, we've got a Strawberry Crepe, and not only that, with Herb Cookie actually providing what they call a cleanse, which is going to be a really, really good counter to somebody like Eclair, Strawberry Crepe is a very good option to pick and choose to utilize on that exact same composition. With that being said, though, guys, diving in here to the next couple of cookies, we've got Pumpkin Pie. Obviously, Pompon is very, very good. Next up, we've got, that's going to be Parfait. Once again, with that Eclair officially dropped in the game, he provides that, debuff to basically make your cookies take more damage. And with that being said, obviously, this is going to be reducing that amount of time that debuff is on your team, utilizing somebody like Parfait. Next one up we've got, and that's going to be none other than Cotton Cookie. Again, a very, very good, arguably the best support cookie in the game when it comes to utility. Very, very good damage, very, very good, specs and talents when it comes to like minions and buffing minions, and then also providing some healing. So again, very, very good all-around cookie. Last but not least, we've got for SS tier, and you probably already guessed it, but that's going to be the brand new Eclair Cookie. Eclair Cookie, in my opinion, is going to be hands down probably the best damage dealer in the game right now, even as a support cookie. Let's be honest, developers, let's just call it like it is, dev sisters. I don't know what you know, but support cookies so far, Cotton and Eclair, they're not support cookies, they're absolutely DPS units. And with that being said, that's going to complete our SS tier. Again, guys, SS rank cookies are the best to use, hands down. If you've got them, definitely pick them up and use them, because absolutely going to be meta. And then with that being said, though, guys, let's dive right in here to the S tier. Once again, keep in mind that the SS tier units are going to be the best in the game. If you do not have the SS tier units, then it's okay to pick and choose and fill your team compositions with those from S, and I would probably argue with those from situational and maybe even A tier, okay? So again, diving into S tier, we got none other than Pure Vanilla Cookie, guys. Pure Vanilla Cookie is still very, very viable in the overall arena. I know since Cotton has officially dropped in the game, it's kind of pushed Pure Vanilla on the wayside, but nevertheless, if you got a Pure Vanilla built way more than you got a Cotton built, or even don't even have a Cotton Cookie, Pure Vanilla is still a very good option. Next one up we've got, and that's going to be Sorbet Shark and Black Razor. We'll just tie the two together. They're very similar, but also very different in their own respect. With that being said, though, guys, two very good damage dealers to add to your team. They add a ton of additional damage and utility, especially somebody like Sorbet, so don't sleep on a Sorbet if you got one. Next up we've got, and that's going to be Rye Cookie. She is very, very good, and if you guys don't know, Rymon comp or the scam comp or single target damage comps, whatever you want to call it, is pretty much making a comeback. And then moving right along here, we've got, and that's going to be Madeline Cookie. Again, a very good, solid, easy to use tank if you have nobody else to use in the overall arena. Still very, very good when it comes to speed meta comps. So definitely don't sleep on a Madeline if you've got them. If you are building a speed meta comp, then I would highly recommend that you do pick up on a Madeline to add to your team. Definitely will not regret it. Next one up we've got, and that's going to be Almond. Guys, literally you can't argue with the Almond, man. You got so many scam comps out there currently going on, especially with Kumiho diving into the game. So again, it's still a very, very good option. Literally just pair him up with anybody as a damage dealer and they're going to do more damage. So again, very good option. And last but not least, we've got for S tier, and that is going to be Coco Cookie. Now, you could argue that Coco could be SS, but for me personally, I think Coco takes the place of a better S tier unit because again, there's going to be a lot of other compositions that you can build not utilizing Coco that will still allow you to achieve masters in the overall season arena. But nevertheless, Coco is going to be coming in at S tier for me. Again, a very, very good solid tank front end option, especially to mitigate damage from sea fairies on enemy teams. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to conclude our S tier. Let's dive in here to the very own situational tier. Once again, this is going to be specifically cookies that are great in a specific composition, but outside of that composition, it's just not going to be worth utilizing in my personal opinion. The very first one up we've got, and that's going to be Tiger Lily. Again, very, very good for those scam comps or those stun scam comps, but outside of that, Tiger Lily just holds little to no value in my opinion. There are tons and better compositions to utilize outside of the scam comp if you are not building the scam comp and still trying to utilize Lily. So again, definitely not a cookie to invest in unless you are building that composition, but if you are, definitely absolutely good. Next one up we've got, again, very, very similar to Tiger Lily, and that's going to be Lilac and Mint Choco. Both of these guys are very, very good when it comes to the speed meta comp, but if you are not building a speed meta team or, basically a speed team, then you don't need to utilize either of these two cookies whatsoever in the arena. Therefore, it's very hard for me to give them any other rank besides a situational rank, because if you are building those teams, then you absolutely need them. Next one up we've got, that's going to be Snow Sugar. Again, if you are building a team composition centered around utilizing Pumpkin and, Snow Sugar, basically the Summoners comp, then again, a very, very good option. But outside of the Summoners comp, Snow Sugar is really, really lackluster, and the damage that they provide is not going to be significant enough to compete on the level of things like Sorbet, Frost Queen, Sea Fairies, that whole thing, and even Eclair at this point. So again, definitely going to be utilizing him if you are building the Summoners comp. Outside of that, wouldn't invest. Last but not least, we've got here for situational, and that's going to be Kumiho. Again, very, very niche cookie here, very specific to something like the Kumiho scam, but outside of that, I would definitely not be investing in a Kumiho, because outside of that, Kumiho's not very good for any other type of content in the game, even outside of the arena. So like I said, building the Kumiho scam, naturally, you got to be picking her up and utilizing her, and she probably would be placed in the S tier unit because you need her, but outside of that, not going to be worth it. With that being said, guys, we're going to be diving in here to the A tier now. Starting us off here, we've got, and that's going to be Sparkling Cookie. Again, not a bad one to invest in here on the A tier spectrum. Not going to be the best overall, but still provides some sort of, healing, and not only that, provides a crit buff. So again, very good option, and depending on what team composition you are looking to build, could absolutely be viable. Next one up we've got, and that's going to be Squid Ink. Again, a megaton of AoE damage and a slight evade to the overall skill. If you're looking for some AoE damage, then definitely not a bad one to consider. Next one up we've got, and that's going to be Licorice. Guys, Licorice is just moving lower and lower down on this list, man. It's sad, but ever since things like Eclair, Cotton, Pumpkin Pie have been dropped in the game, it's just moving him lower and lower because it's just basically better options for summoners in the game. I mean, we've got Pumpkin Pie, Cotton, literally those two alone can directly replace Licorice in most compositions. So again, not going to be the worst cookie to invest in, but for me, it's going to be coming in at A tier for this season so far. Next up we've got, and that's going to be Mango. Again, AoE damage, slight knock up to his overall ability, and also provides a small attack buff. Again, not the best of the best cookies. Definitely can't, make it on the S or SS tier in my opinion, but still a very good option if you are looking to add some AoE damage. The next one up we've got, that's going to be Latte. Once again, just some AoE damage overall. A silencing ability can be very, very beneficial and used to your advantage, but you got to play your cards right and just understand that her damage takes quite a bit of time for it to actually pop off and, utilize. The next one up we've got, that's going to be Moon Rabbit Cookie. Again, depending on your overall team composition, you can still utilize Moon Rabbit if you don't have a good healer. Definitely would not be a bad option, but definitely not going to be anywhere higher, in my opinion, than A tier. The next one up we've got, that's going to be Dark Choco. Now, this one might ruffle some feathers for you guys, but nevertheless, Dark Choco provides a defense break, which again is very, very nice in all aspects of the game. But when it comes to overall arena, it's not going to be very good. It's not as good as running like a Kumiho with the Almond, Kumiho scam comp, and definitely not going to be as good as running like a Holly Berry, in my opinion, or a Strawberry Crepe. So definitely going to be coming in at A tier for me. Next up we've got, and that's going to be none other than Pastry Cookie. Again, just another really good damage dealer that you can add to your team, but doesn't quite meet the standards when it comes to Sorbet and Black Raisin. Next up we've got, that's going to be Mala Sauce, guys. Mala Sauce, again, very, very good overall. Provides some burning damage and also provides a crit rate up. However, though, it pairs very, very well with somebody like Twizzly, and that's going to be the reason why Twizzly's actually moving down, in my opinion, from S tier down to A tier this season. We're not seeing a whole lot of Mala and Twizzly comps anymore. We're pretty much running mainly all the new cookies. Eclair pretty much broke the game, Cotton broke the game, Holly Berry, Sea Fairy, Frost Queen, all of those are pretty much what we're seeing running predominantly in the arena. So the Mala Sauce and Twizzly comp has just kind of been falling down the wayside, very similar to like the Speed Meta comp. Next one up we've got, and that's going to be surprising as well, we've got Cream Puff, guys. Cream Puff actually got a buff, man. Got a mega buff, making her a lot more viable. I definitely think that we have not seen the end of, Cream Puff actually climbing the ladder. I think there's some crit builds that could potentially be floating around out there that needs a little bit more testing and finessing before we actually start to see her climb up. But nevertheless, welcome Cream Puff to A tier. The next one up we've got, again, is going to be a shift, and that's going to be Herb Cookie Man is officially welcoming here to A tier. Herb has a cleanse ability, guys, and it goes directly against Eclair Cookie. Eclair is going to be providing a weakness debuff on your entire team, and with that being said, you could utilize Herb's skill to cleanse off that debuff, which essentially does not make them take more damage. So again, very, very good. However, though, you gotta build it correctly in order for it to actually be viable. So again, only gonna be making it here to A tier. And that's gonna conclude our A tier, guys. With that being said, diving into B tier, here we've got, that's gonna be Raspberry Cookie. We've got Red Velvet, Espresso, Vampire. Last but not least, we've also got Sonic, Tails, Pomegranate, and the brand new Tea Knight, guys. Tea Knight for me is officially gonna be diving in on B tier. I know. Some of you guys might rate him a little bit higher, maybe even S tier. I know that he's a direct counter to the Kumiho scam comp, but outside of that, guys, it's just not going to be viable, man. The guy is too selfish. He needs you to focus on losing all 4 of your allies in order for him to actually do some damage and put in the work that is needed to potentially win the battle. And I just don't think that it's quite enough. And it's not only me, other players that have helped me do this tier list, I just don't think it's quite enough, in my opinion, to raise him higher than B tier. I know you could build this comp, like I said, to directly counter Kumiho scam, so maybe you could argue to bring him to A tier, but definitely not higher than A tier for me. With that being said, though, guys, it's going to complete our overall B tier. All the rest of these units could potentially be used. Again, they're just going to be damage dealers. They're not going to quite make it as good as somebody like Sorbet Shark or Mala Sauce and Twizzly comp, or, Pumpkin Pie and Cotton or Eclair, but nevertheless, not going to be D tier or C tier. With that being said, though, guys, let's dive in here to C tier. We've got 3 cookies for you at C tier: Werewolf, Milk Cookie, and Poison Mushroom. At the very, very least, these should be your last 3 cookies. If you have no other options at starting off in the game that you gotta use, you need somebody to put on your team just to get some additional points, then you can go ahead and feel good about at least investing in some of those. And then the bottom tier, guys, we've got, that's gonna be Yam Cookie, Chili Pepper, and then Fig Cookie. Definitely not gonna be worth investing in any of these, and I highly, highly, highly recommend that you guys stick to A tier and above. SS, start off there, build the cookies you can, build a composition around those, pick up some from best tier to fulfill your team. Last but not least, jump into the situational if you are looking to build one of those situational teams. And then if you absolutely have to, pick up what you can from A, B, and below. Don't invest in, guys. It's not worth your time. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to conclude today's video for the updated PvE tier list for the month of January 2022. As always, drop a comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are on this tier list. If you think something should be changed or why you feel differently, let me know. I'd love to hear it. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, join the Discord. Links provided down below in the description. And as always, I'll see you guys on the next one.